What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. It has been a while, but you know me, I'm not very consistent in publishing. But today I have a quite interesting video, I think. It's about a simple upgrade that I did to my equipment, and yeah, we're gonna go through the modifications that I did and the results, and you're gonna judge and you tell me if you think it was worth and if maybe you are interested in trying it too. And today we're talking about actually my goggles, which are the DJI Integra, and as you can see, they look quite different because I changed the antennas on them, basically because I was using them mainly to fly long range with my airplane or my RangeX Pro, and also the RangeX Mini in the past. And yeah, the stock antennas were not bad at all, but compared to my older V2s, I was feeling the bitrate was not constant enough, especially on the V2s with my 2SE-X2 antennas. I used to have like, you know, constant 50, 45, 50 megabit per second, and I was really used to that. So when I first tried the Integra, I started feeling that after 2 kilometers, more or less, the bitrate was dropping. The video quality was still good, but yeah, I didn't feel much confident in going further with the drone actually. I started with the RangeX Mini in the past, and of course when I started using the RangeX Pro, which has like 5-6 kilometers range, I tried, and I also managed to reach 5 kilometers with that, but yeah, I still wasn't confident enough. So I saw a couple of videos about this modification. You can find the link in the comments, and I won't do the guide because the guys who made the videos were absolutely incredible. Everything is super clear, and you can also find on Thingiverse the STL files for the antenna mounts. Was just a pain to, you know, grab the correct RP SMA pigtails with the UFL. These ones actually are 90 degrees, those are straight, and the 90 degrees were actually a pain, and AliExpress also lost one of my shippings, so yeah, was a bit it took a bit longer than expected. But now I finally made the upgrade. It was actually quite easy. In just 1 hour following the videos that I was mentioning before, you can just untighten some screws, open the goggles and unplug the UFL, put the new ones, and yeah, you just mount them with the TPU parts. So super easy, super simple modification. But yeah, now let's move to the computer and let's see the actual improvement that I got from that, because I think it's quite interesting. Okay, so now we're gonna watch a couple of DVRs. The first one from the stock setup from a flight back in June, and the second one from a flight that I did the other day. And yeah, so we just go and compare the goggles with the stock antennas and the new antennas and how they perform at target distances such as 2 kilometers, 3 and 4 kilometers, okay, which is more or less the medium distance that you do on a long range flight. Both flights are more or less the same altitude gain too, same position for me, so they should be quite similar and quite comparable. So we start with the first video. As you can see, we start at 50 megabit per second. Here you can see the distance from home, and here you can see the elevation from the home point. And yeah, also notice how fast is this drone, 40% throttle, 80 kilometers per hour. Just of horizontal speed, we're not considering the vertical. I'm gonna do, and 21 amps of consumption, and it's correct. I calibrated the sensor. So I'm gonna do a video on you know, the RangeX Pro and how these bigger drones are actually insane for doing long range. But this is not the topic. So now we can see 50 megabit per second. We are around 1 kilometer already, and everything looks good. I noticed that the O3 system actually is very, very good, and it's perfectly flyable when you are above the 10 megabit per second. So up to 10 megabit per second you can still perfectly fly. Of course, my goal was to stay above the 20 megabit per second, and we will see why. But most of all, I just wanted a more stable signal. So as we can see here, we are at 30 megabit per second already, and we are not even at 1.5 kilometers. I mean, it should be okay. The video is perfect, no lag, no compression artifacts, nothing at all. It's okay, but not even 2 kilometers, and we are already dropped at almost half the bit rate. Now we keep going, and now, as you can see, we start getting the first warning, and we are at 2.26 kilometers. And we start getting the warning. And I mean, it's not a big deal because it's flyable, but it doesn't it didn't make me actually quite confident, this stuff, okay? Because you are flying and you start seeing this flashing orange light in the bottom of your goggles, and you're like, oh my god, am I going out of velos and stuff? No, it was just the system. So as you can see, it then just kept being constant at around 20, 18, 19, 20. So not bad. 17 here, we start having some little bit of drop, and we are at around 3 kilometers. Now we reached 3 kilometers and we're still around 25, so we got a little bit better here. But then it should drop again, yeah, 23, 24, 23. So yeah, was decent, was flyable, but again, I was not that much confident. 21, so now we are also going inside the clouds, and I mean, this of course will make the signal a little bit worse, but we're still around 20, 21. So as you can see, it stays constant now, 16, 15, 16. The clouds for sure did something here, but I mean, it also happened in other flights. 15 was still flyable. I just flew through the clouds and then up again. Yeah, I just did some shots here. Now that I exit the clouds and I'm going back, we are 23, 22, 21, 22, and we are at around 4 kilometers. We touched the 4 kilometers around here. Here we are at 4.2 and we are at 17, 19 megabits per second. Okay. But as you can see, when we turn and we start going back, we are still at 20, 19, 20. So yeah, was not 16 here, 17, and we are perfectly in VLOS because I took off from here. So the line of sight with me was actually super clean, okay? And also, the RangeX Pro has the antennas in a way that if one of the antennas is a little bit covered from the body of the drone, the other one it stays up. So it should be clear, actually. So it shouldn't be a drone frame issue, actually, okay? I mean, of course, there might be some position where you go and cover the antennas with the drone body that just creates, you know, a shadowy area, we can say, but that's not the case. Now I start doing the dive and we are still at 20, 22, 18, and now we are coming back, so we are at 3.5 kilometers. Now we keep going back, 3.3 kilometers, and still at 22, 21, so I noticed that the bitrate just stabilized around this, you know, this medium, 20, 18, 20, 18. So now we are coming back again, 18, 17, and we are still in VLOS because we took off from here, okay, just remember. There we had a little bit of breakup, but yeah, it was just drop. I was just sure about that, so no issue here. So, but still 23, 22, 23, 22. Okay, and then we go back. Yeah, I did another run. That was a long line. And here, when we get again the clear line of sight, 27 megabits per second at 1.5, 1.6 kilometers. So not bad. It was flyable, but was not what I was expecting and what gives me the confidence to push the drone a little bit further. Now, if we go check the other video, which is the one I did yesterday, as you can see here, so we start and we start going 50 megabits per second, and as you can see, this is with the new antennas, of course. We drop below the 50 megabits per second at 1.4 kilometers. So up to 1.4 kilometers, we are at 50 megabits stable. And as you can see, we're not dropping at 40 immediately. We're at 45, 43, 45, 46, 48. So we're still in a range of 50-ish, more or less. And we are almost at 2 kilometers. We go at 2 kilometers mark, which is here, and we're at 42, 43, 44. So again, already we can see an improvement, okay? Actually, not a little improvement, a very nice improvement here. We drop below the 40, more or less, at 2.20. We can see, yeah, here, 2.5 kilometers more or less, and we drop below the 40s. But again, it's not at 30. It's at 36, 37, 35, so we are still in the upper 30s, okay? And then we go again, we are already almost at 3 kilometers. At 3 kilometers, we start 30, we start seeing at 29, maybe here and there, 29, 32, 29. Okay, now we start going a little bit closer to the rocks. So we also have the interference from the rocks, a little bit of wind here. We had a little bit of drop at 22, but again, we are stabilizing at around 30, 28, 29, 30. There should be a point here where it got a little bit worse, which is around here if I remember. Let me check. Yeah, it was around here maybe. I remember there was a point where I got a telemetry lost, and so the bitrate was also lowering a little bit. Maybe there was some kind of interference. Check the range. We are at 4.1 kilometers now, and we are at 29, 30, 29, 27, 25. It's way higher bitrate than before. We didn't have a single orange band. We should have one now, okay, while I was turning, and that's okay. I was turning, maybe a little bit of shadowing from the drone. As you can see, I'm a little bit pitched up here just to show the glacier, so might be that I also covered my antennas by doing so. I was very low compared to the drone because I was at, as you can see here, 1.71 kilometers up. So it's okay if I do like this with the drone and I'm here, I don't see the antennas very well with the goggles. And then when I start the dive, already boom, 28, 27, 26, 25, 26, 28, 30 again, okay, depending on the angle of the drone in respect to me. 20 here, we just had a little bit of drop here, which is where I got the telemetry lost too, so maybe it was just the area, I have no idea. And again, 22, 20, 23, but now we start, oh yeah, here maybe we had the telemetry lost here, and then immediately up 30. But we are at almost 4 kilometers. A little bit of 20 here, coming back to me, I was just almost here, okay? So it might be also due to the position of the antennas. But yeah, I really thought it was very stable, much more high bit rate, a little bit of drop here. That was one of the lowest point. I have no idea why. Maybe because, as I said, I was down here, the drone is going up, and while doing this, I put the antennas on the other side, and I have the carbon between the antennas on the goggles, the patch antennas, and the omnidirectional on the drone. But as soon as I put the antennas back towards me, it's again around the 30. Yeah, and then just going back, I did a little bit of 360 too. And again, we are already 27, 25, 27, a little bit of 22 here, just turning, and then boom, down in dive, again up to around 30 megabits per second. And then just coming back, and it goes up again to 45, 50. So what's the key point in that? Well, first of all, I think it's clear that with the new antennas, we had an improvement in the stability of the signal, in the megabit ratio that we have at higher distances. It's still not perfect. I mean, it's still not as it was on the V2s, where you have this 50 megabits per second and it's like 50, 45, 50, 45, 50, 45, 48, 46. Was just much more constant up there, but maybe it's due to the logic of how it works, the O3. So since the O3 is very good in keeping the quality really high, in dealing with compression up to, yeah, you know, 10, 12 megabits, probably it's okay. Probably that's okay. For me, the middle should be around 30 megabits per second. Yeah, so I'm quite happy actually. I'm quite happy of how they performed. I feel much more confident, mostly because I didn't receive that many warnings, that many, you know, orange lines in the goggles compared to before. Before it was just like after 2 kilometers, everything was just with the orange line, especially with the RangeX Mini, which had the stock antenna from the O3. Yeah, it was just a pain. If I find some DVR, I'll just post it here. And yeah, it was just so scary. I mean, not very, at first scary, and then it was just distracting, okay? And of course a little bit scary too. But yeah, I really feel much more confident. And I mean, if you have to deal with, you know, space, if you have any kind of concern that they won't be much more portable compared to before, if you just dismantle the antennas, you can put it in a little sack as I do, like this, and you just bring your antennas and put it here. I mean, they're still very compact, I guess, so not a big deal. The only big deal now is that, of course, you have the 2 directional antennas, and so, of course, you gotta be careful of where you're pointing your face while flying, but we are all used to that. So yeah, for me it was a really nice upgrade. not even that expensive. It's like 70-80 euros for the antennas and like 20 more bucks for the UFL. I just bought a couple spares. Of course, if you're looking for extreme portability, the folding antennas are really useful, but for me it was just a matter of range, of course, so that's definitely okay. I also considered switching to the goggles too, just to have, you know, the third party's antenna native, we can say, with, you know, the MMCX connector. But yeah, I really enjoy the fitting on the Integra and also the sharpness of the screen. I just tried the goggles too, and everything was blurry and was just a mess with, you know, the knobs for the focus adjustment. So I was just like, those are simpler. I like the integrated battery. I like the form factor. I just changed the, you know, the sponge, and now the antennas. And for me, those goggles are very good. Yeah, so it's a nice modification. It's quite simple actually. As I said, it's like 1 hour of work, and I think it will give you, especially if you do long range, really a ton of confidence more. But just because you don't see the orange bar every time you pass the 2 kilometers mark, that's very yeah, that's very annoying. It was very annoying. Yeah, so I think we said everything about that. As I said, it was just simple video. I just wanted to share with you my thoughts about the performances of the goggles now, and yeah, they're just nice all around and also long range goggles. Maybe I'll try to push them to the limit with my airplane, and yeah, we see how far we can go with these antennas, but I think that we can easily hit 6-7 kilometers probably. Maybe with lower bitrate, of course, but yeah, it's way more compared to before. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you have any kind of question or you want to share your experience, if you already did this modification to the other user, just feel free to drop a comment below. And if you found this content useful, just put a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to the channel. I really do hope to put a couple more videos out before the end of the year. And one of them, as you can maybe hint from here, will be about my trip in Iceland that I did this summer. It was just insane, some amazing views, amazing places. So yeah, just maybe consider subscribing so you won't miss it when it will be out. I do my best to put it out before the end of the year. As I said, it's a lot of footage, so it will take some time. You know, you can see I'm slow even for publishing videos like that. And yeah, maybe consider also following me on Instagram. I'm a little bit more active there. You can also DM me if you have any kind of question about long range, about drones in general. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.